In this video, we're going to look at the process of applying dynamic quotas to our APIs. The reason you might want to do this is you might want to find different levels of access to these APIs to different sets of developers. So for example, you could have a bronze level API product that you make available to everybody that provides very limited access, and a platinum level product that's provided to select developers that provides much greater levels of access. So in order to do this lab as a prerequisite, you must have completed the Packaging APIs lab, which means that you already have a API proxy set up with a verify API key step. So first thing we're going to do is add a quota policy into this API proxy. I choose my quota policy. The configuration for this policy we can actually take straight from the guide for the lab and paste that in. One thing to note here that this is referencing variables that will be generated by the verify API key step. So if you had used a different name other than the default verify API key 1 for your verify API key step, you'd need to update this inside the configuration for the quota step. With our quota policy in place, we can save the API proxy. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm now going to create a couple of API products that we're going to use to test out the dynamic quotas. So exactly as we did in the Packaging API lab, go in, give this a name, so we'll call this one bronze. Again, we're going to choose the test environment public access automatic key approval, and for bronze access we're just going to say one request every hour. Finally, we're going to add my API proxy to the API. I'm going to save. Very quickly, we'll just repeat that process and we'll create a second API product. So this time we're going to call it Platinum. Same parameters as before, but this time we're going to specify a quota of 1,000 requests per hour. And again, we add the API proxy and save. So I now have two different API products that give me two different levels of access. And to use those, we're going to now need to register a couple of developer apps. So again, exactly as before, go in, create a new app, select the developer, select the products. So this is the bronze app, so we'll choose the bronze product, we'll save, and do exactly the same for the platinum product. So select again the developer, add the product, and save. So we now have two developer apps, each using one of the two API products that we created. So let's now test this out. So if we go into the bronze app and grab the API key, go to the REST client, specify that, our API key to call this API proxy, send in the first request, you can see we get a successful response, but when I send in the second request we can see that this is breaking the quota limit. If I now try the same test but using the API key from the platinum level app, we can see that when we use this key, we can actually send in lots of different requests. In fact, I could keep doing this up to 1,000 requests in an hour, and you see we continue to get a successful response. Thank you for watching.